You went in the house and you came out, and I'm starting to walk up the gravel, and I see your foot come out, and then I hear, and then and I thought you'd stepped back, and you're like, I'm just gonna lay here for a minute. I was like, oh crap, like he fell.
Yeah.
So what do you remember of this incident?
I remember most of it.
Mhm.
There's a couple second window where I don't remember, but that was later. So I was just getting ready to leave, and that last step, it's like a step out of the building. I was getting ready to step out, looking down at the ground. I figured I knew I had a duck. So when I went to duck, I tucked my chin and ducked my head. Well, I was not clear, and I hit square. It's gonna be hard for people listening, but I hit square on the top of my head on this old, like 8x8 post.
What's going on, guys? So today in the episode, we're going to go over the deer camp kind of recap for 2023 as my first whitetail camp. I'm super excited for you guys to dive in on this with me and the other two guys that I've got here on the podcast that you are going to see introduced here shortly. We've got Jeff and Justin, and they are just outstanding individuals that love archery, love the outdoors, and just want to constantly get better. They love shooting bows and just being good human beings. So it's going to be a great conversation. But before we get into the conversation, just wanted to give you a reminder that there's a couple days left to get into the December giveaway that I've got going on. I'm really excited for it. I hope you guys get entered. Remember to be able to get entered into that. Every $10 spent at Phorm, send me your order in an email. My email is down below. And send me just a screenshot of your order, and you'll get entered into the giveaway of over $500 worth of prizes. I'm super excited for that. And on top of that, guys, anything that I talk about on the podcast as far as a partner, something that I use as far as gear items, check out the links down below. Everything from training gear from GoRuck to supplements from Phorm and more. Definitely check out the links down below, guys. Here's the special edition of the, I don't even have a name for it, but basically just Ohio Deer Camp 2023, my first Whitetail Deer Camp. Hopefully you guys enjoy it and have a great one.
All right. Welcome back to the RedBeard Outdoors podcast. We've got Justin Ingles here with, is it Bloodlines Outdoors? Archery.
Yeah, I got
Bloodlines
sued, so.
Archery. It's a good reason to change the name. And then we've got Jeff Cordero, Mr. Tire Changer, Tire Thrower.
What's
Tire
hilarious, but he got sued. So.
It was all of that.
Yeah.
Gotta cut it down.
So, we're here at Deer Camp 2023. Are we going to make this a yearly thing?
Why not? Sure.
There we go. We're here in Ohio. Justin was kind enough to let us come up here and shoot some deer. Well, hopefully we'll get to shoot some deer.
Yeah.
There was a deer shot.
One deer and walked and stopped.
Yeah. We'll get to that here in a minute. But so I'll let you guys introduce who you are. I know you've been on the podcast, and then Justin, have you been on the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll just see myself out.
It's been so long. What was that podcast? It was like double digits.
It was probably like your second podcast. Like, man, I need someone that's not any good. This guy seems like a scrub.
You need to iron the kinks out.
I was looking for fellow gingers. That's what it was.
I'll focus on this one.
But I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. So Justin, who are you?
Yes, I am Justin from Bloodlines Archery. I'm a physical therapist assistant. I live in central Kentucky. I used to love to shoot my bow and shoot stuff and have a good time doing it. And then, pretty much.
Yeah. Put your sight tape on during hunting camp.
Nah, sight tapes are for weenies. Just
We've spent the last 5 days working on sight tapes, fletching arrows. What else? We haven't pressed a bow, but you offered to bring a press, and now it understands why.
Yeah, I never had my stuff ready.
Yeah, perfect. Well, you just got a new bow.
Yeah.
When was that? Like
a month ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I was gonna give you the out, but that didn't quite work.
No, I got it end of September, and I just not shot at all. Just not time, so switching positions at work.
Yeah.
Not just had time to dial it in. So
yeah.
I've been doing it like every 5 minutes I have, just working on it, and I had it pretty good. And then I had to redo my arrows.
You just figured the dart and technology would just it would do it for you.
It would. It should.
It's in most bows.
That's next year's model.
Okay. And then Jeff, who are you?
My name is Jeff Cordero. Full-time job is a tire changer in NASCAR. I like shooting my bow. I got my bow in October, and it is dialed. So
You don't have kids.
I don't have kids,
Yeah.
which leaves me a lot of time to shoot a lot of arrows. But no, Jeff Cordero, tire changer from North Carolina. Well, I'm from Connecticut, but I live in North Carolina because of NASCAR, and I like going out and hunting. And yeah,
North Carolina's better.
Yeah,
it's better.
Yeah.
South of the Mason-Dixon.
It is.
Yes,
Way south. Of
yeah, you got to get rid of those Yankees.
Half podcast. Get golf.
Yeah, exactly. And then you won the November Knockdown.
I did,
Challenge
yeah.
last year.
So I am the first Phorm Outdoors Pro Staffer. I won the first Phorm Knockdown Challenge, which is what's going on right now.
Mhm.
I don't know when this drops. It might be over by the time this drops.
I haven't
but
decided when.
okay.
Depends on how good this goes. So.
Well, hey, if you haven't signed up and it's still going on, you should sign up because you can win prizes weekly just for competing. You don't even have to win the workout. You can just be randomly selected to win. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool that they're doing that. Last year it was a little smaller, and then this year they've really put a lot of effort to really push it out. And it was a great experience last year to be able to go do the competition, then go to compete in person, and then, come out on top.
Yeah.
And then reap the benefits of that, which has been awesome. So
yeah, no, that was a cool journey to watch. And just, for everyone out there that doesn't know, even if this does come out after November, look forward to it next year. This year we had CrossFit competitors. Can't find the word.
They're if you look at the leaderboard after whenever this comes out, but if you look at the leaderboard, there's a lot of people. Like last year, it was kind of like I said, it was a lot smaller. And then this year, there's money on the line, and then a lot of athletes showed up, and which is it's a good thing because it gets a lot more exposure to everybody else.
Yep.
And you had a lot of people sign up who were just, hey, how do I do this? Like, I don't really shoot a bow, but like, can I do the workouts? Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah.
So do you think you only won last year because only 12 people participated?
It's possible. I was the best of 12, right?
Justin's just jealous because he didn't compete last year. So
Not. He probably didn't have his
this year, though, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I did it last year.
When he gets his side tape on, he'll compete this year. But
it's 20 yards. Shouldn't be that hard.
I'll shoot the 2-blade.
Oh man. But yeah, no, it's something that even if you don't feel like you're competitive for time, there's even a third prize that's given away every week for I can't remember what the name is called, but basically showing up, giving your best effort, living the first Phorm values. That's really what it boils down to. So you've got the women winner, the man's winner every week, and then you have a third winner. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
I think it's like a community appreciation award or something.
Yeah, so it's basically for effort. It's putting in your best effort, because we know, especially with people like Clint that go and do it 36 times before they get the best score, or Jeff that crushes box step overs, things like that. CrossFit competitors, some people, we still want everyone to compete, and that's the key, is just to get you out. They're short workouts, super easy. You can do multiple in a week. Obviously, I'm going to keep bringing up Clint because
some of them you can do.
Yeah,
yes. Last week's on Tuesday, and I was still feeling it Tuesday this week.
Yeah, I think I just recovered, and it's been a week. Yeah, I couldn't actually. Jeff was like, "Are you okay?" When we were walking into the gas station.
I don't know if you can see the stairs behind us, but they're pretty steep, and I was worried for Jonathan. More than once.
When I walked in the cabin, I looked at him. I was like, "Man, Justin, I think I'm going to sleep on the couch. I think that's what I'm going to do."
They did not make Masters on the Main back in 1870.
Nope. But anyways,
did, right? Joke's on me.
Oh man, it's been a blast so far this week, though. We've had a really good time. I've never been whitetail hunting before. Jeff, you obviously have, and you've killed some. I mean, your wife's killed bigger bucks.
Of course, yeah. I killed a couple. I killed a couple things. But...
You had a good one this year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, walk us through maybe that story for those that don't know it. I know you put a video out on it, and you've talked about it, but walk us through this deer that you went after to finally beat your wife's. Your wife's deer.
Trying to beat my wife.
Context.
Yeah. Context here. Context. Okay. Yeah. Tell us that story.
Yeah. So, it's not really that great of a story. Because I don't have any history with this deer. Like, these guys are like, I've been chasing this deer for 4 years.
So you didn't like do the food plot, the back 40.
I do, and I had no deer on it. So, I was like, well, this is just awful because we had a drought this year. And it's like 2 days before season, and my mother-in-law calls me. They just moved back from Nevada, and she's like, hey, this guy was bush hogging our field and asked for permission to hunt. But I told him no because I thought you might want to come hunt. He said he saw 2 big deer. So I was like, sounds good to me because I have no targets. And, taking someone for the word, I was expecting like a 8-point basket or something, like nothing very big. And I get out there and I saw him like 75 yards away. I was like, he's a freaking stud. And he had a really red coat on him. So I thought, well, red coats make me think of the British. And then I was like, well, who's the most British person I know? So I thought Winston Churchill. So I named him Winston. I hunted pretty hard for like 5 days, or about 3 or 4 days. Didn't see him again. Had over 1,500 pictures on that camera within that week, and none of him. And then he came in at 14 yards.
Wow.
And almost messed up the shot because I didn't have a sight tape for 14 yards. So I just took 20 and aimed low, and I almost went too low. But clipped the heart. He went 45 yards and piled up. So
that's awesome.
yeah, it's not like a super cool, crazy story, but it's a pretty deer. So
you can tell he's from the South. Red coats.
Dang red coats.
Thinking of the red coat. No, that's pretty cool though. And he's a stud. What was he, a 10-point, 8-point?
10 point. Well, he had like a 2-inch kicker off the front, but he's a mainframe 10.
Yeah. And then he had some really tall tines, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And then do you have any other targets this year?
I had a target for Ohio, but my dad took a shot at him a few weeks ago, and then he went to the neighbor's property, which we had permission on. And but the neighbor gave 2 other guys permission down on the end where he was living, and so I've not had pictures of him for a couple weeks. So I'm assuming he got shot. Now there's kind of a new target that we saw earlier this week. I guess we're calling him Tiny. And he's just a stud. Yeah. And so hopefully one of us 3 can get him tomorrow for the last hunt of the day.
Now I told
that
your dad
deer has ruined this trip for me because nothing.
You shouldn't have said anything.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
That because I haven't been able to hunt there since then, but nothing pales in comparison. Like everything pales to that. Like you look at a deer, you're like, nah. No.
Yeah, he's tall, he's wide, he's just
everything.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's a perfect 10.
He's a stud. I told your dad in the garage though. I was like, if I see Tiny, I'll save him for you. Yeah. So maybe I'll earn some brownie points. Yeah. I'll get him on camera and then I'll shoot the 2-point that's right beside him. Oh man, that's awesome. And then the Ohio.
We got to get that 2-point out of you. It's a 4-point out of you.
Yeah, it's a 4-point. You're right. I'll take a 4
east of the Mississippi.
Yeah, that's. Are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well east. We're at the Ohio earlier.
I can't even look it up, man. We're out in the middle of nowhere. Can't look things up right now. No, that's awesome. And then, you've been shooting whitetail for a while now.
Yeah.
In North Carolina. So, do you have any targets this year?
No. We just moved to a new property last year. Didn't really have. I had 2 of them last year that were sizable. I would have shot either one of them, and then never saw them again. I think when we saw them, they were just kind of cruising. It was like that pre-rut time, and then we haven't seen anything, and it's just a pile of does I got in my backyard that I need to take care of. But yeah, just new property, just trying to figure out what's in the area. So
well, if those does keep walking in front of your target.
Yeah, I mean they're just in the backyard. It's I could almost walk out the back porch and just.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
So they're looking at me because I said I wanted to shoot a doe whenever I came out here, at least 1 if not 2, and then a buck. And I've never been whitetail hunting before, so that was kind of my goal. And so we're out hunting for a couple days. We'd seen some bucks. We're kind of the running joke is that I will shoot most of the things that you guys won't shoot. But
we'll go out and we'll have our little recap after we go out in the morning when we're getting ready to go on our evening hunt. And then it's like, hey, did you see anything? Oh, yeah, I saw a little 6. I saw an 8. He's bad borderline, And Jonathan's over here just steaming. Like,
I would have shot it.
Yeah,
I would have shot every one of those.
They're like, oh, yeah, I had a 6 at 25 yards or whatever. I'm like, no, thanks. That's awesome. Send them my way. I will spot and stalk them, the Western way. So then, we get back from hunting one morning. They said that there were some does out back in this draw that's back here.
We went to Bob Evans.
Okay, yeah. So we ran to town. We saw this stud of a deer out in the field. He looked like a horse with antlers. I mean, it was huge.
Yeah, we're at the original Bob Evans farm.
Mm-hmm.
And
There's
here it's good luck.
There's a huge field across the street.
Mm-hmm.
And we just saw this, like, I think you were on the phone, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we look out, and there's just a giant just running 600 yards just straight across this field. He's probably 200 yards away from us, maybe 3.
At
Full
11:30.
gallop, just full gallop, just
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
We didn't have our
Jumped up 5
binos on us, of
fences.
course, so we weren't able to see what it was. But
Or a rifle.
yeah, or we don't condone shooting across the road.
No.
Or in a state where you can't rifle.
Well,
I mean, he's a little far for a bow shot. You don't have a sight tape for 14. I don't think you have one for 540.
he was running to get out of Dudley range. That's
Yeah.
14
I
yards.
think you're ready to take off after him.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
100%.
that was a big deer. And then we come back, and we had, was it your dad?
No,
Or was
it was Jacob, the
Jacob.
fourth person. That's not here now.
So Jacob's not here. He wouldn't fit in the frame anyway. He's like a 6'8" giant. He's the original Mothman, and and he's like sitting on the porch. He's like, oh yeah, there's some does out back in the draw back here behind the barn.
There was.
That's what he said. Yeah, there were some does out there. So we're in here talking. It's probably an hour, almost 2 hours later.
Yeah.
Right. And we're getting ready to go hunt. And I was like, man, I wish those does were still there. I would have gone back there and shot them. He's like, oh, well, they're still back there. They bet. I was like, oh my gosh, like 2 hours later. And then your dad comes over. He's like, well, I was back there messing around with the barn. So they probably, spooked and ran off. I was like, well, I'm going to try. So I knocked an arrow. You grabbed your camera.
Arrow. That's
yes,
important.
I knocked an arrow, did not bring my quiver. And you grabbed the camera, which kudos to you. I haven't said thank you for that. But also the fact that you remembered your camera.
I know.
It's just,
I knew where it was.
and then you hit record too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's 10 for 10 on that one, right?
Yeah.
And so we go back, down the draw, and it was more spot and walk, right?
Yeah.
So we're kind of walking down the draw because it's pretty open.
As they're walking, I took note on my phone what time it was to see how long they were going to go on this escapade before we were actually going to go hunting,
Mm-hmm.
because I was waiting for you to
Yeah.
actually go hunting.
Yep. And then so I get down the draw, and then we see 3 white flags come up, the tails, and they're running up the draw. And I see one of them stop, the other 2 go up over the top of the ridge, and one of them stopped, and I just kind of looked, and she stopped and was looking at us, and so we're still walking, and I think we got to about 50 yards, and I was going to stop, and Justin's like, no, keep walking, like, with purpose. I was like, okay. So I walk until the next open shot that I had. At that point, it was very quartered away, and it was 39 yards, and she gave me time to range, had an arrow knocked, dialed, and she's still looking back at us. Not quite a Texas heart shot, but it was really quartered away. It was quartered hard away. You were a little bit to the right behind me, so he didn't see that angle. He saw a little bit more of that broadside, but I aimed a little back because I was aiming for the exit, which is where you're supposed to aim for. And so I was aiming for that exit shoulder on the other side. So it'd go through the cavity. And then, went through the shot process, rolled through, release, pow, and it hit her. And Justin's
Guts.
yeah, Justin's like, he's like, oh man, that's back. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, yes, but the angle, and she already started like just pouring blood. And so I watch her
I'm
run
like yelling,
up.
knocking it. I'm like, get another arrow.
Yeah, he's like, get another arrow. I'm like, I don't have another arrow. I don't have my quiver. Because usually I have my quiver on my bow, and out west, and out here you kind of hang the quiver up in the tree stand. Do you do that? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I've done it both ways. It doesn't. It's just when you're up there, especially like in a ground blind and stuff, it's just more things to get snagged on.
Right. Yeah. So I haven't attached my quiver to the bow, and I was like, crap. So I watched her. I think she went maybe 20 yards or so,
Yeah. Maybe.
and stopped, and then she tumbled backwards and was laying there. So I ran back to the cabin, and meanwhile you. And,
Oh yeah, it had been about 8 minutes, and I was like, from my angle, we saw the does. We saw 2 does run off. We didn't know how many there were, so me and Jacob were standing there. We're like, so they ran off up the hill, and we're like, well, this is blown. I wonder if they saw him run up the hill, or they're just gonna stalk into nothing. And then here comes Jonathan running back, like full kill, and we're like, what's wrong? He goes, I need another arrow. And I'm like, for what? And he goes, I shot one. I'm like, no way. There's no way you shot one. Yeah,
She acted like a mule deer. She really did. She stood
didn't
there
move at all.
and just looked at us as I did the whole process, drew back, And so I grabbed another arrow, get back, and Justin's like, dude, she hasn't moved. So we go up the hill, and sure enough, she was gone. So what ended up happening was the way the arrow entered, it actually went high, so it missed all the guts. These guys, Jeff was like, dude, that's going to be terrible
He's
to
like, that's
clean.
gonna stink.
When we went
hunt, good luck.
When they went back, I ran up because, go congratulate him. It's his first whitetail kill. So I go up and I see the one arrow. I'm like, where was your first arrow? Because I thought that was his follow-up arrow. And he goes, no, that was my first arrow. And I'm like, yee. Good luck cleaning that. See you later.
Yeah, and I had told Jeff's not just being a dick. I told him, I was like, go hunt. Like, I don't want to ruin your evening. I got my doe. We're good. And she was decent size, but 3-year-old probably.
Yeah,
3-year-old doe, and she's beautiful. This is my first whitetail, and anyway, it had gone high enough, and the angle, the way she was uphill and angled away, it actually went through her rear quarter, missed all the guts because I guess they were hanging. How. Yeah, it's just ginger luck, I guess. But
that's not.
I don't think that's a thing.
That's definitely not a thing.
We're not making it a thing either.
We're making it a thing. Went through the diaphragm, went through at least one of the lungs. If not, I didn't look at the other one, and out the other shoulder, and was poking out the other side. So it was great shot, cleared, hit all the pieces that I wanted other than the heart. But if I'd aimed that low, I would have definitely hit guts.
Yeah,
but
I can't complain as little as anywhere she went. I mean, you had to just sever that artery.
That too, yeah.
In the back, cause she was just gushing blood. Like
the moment the arrow went in.
Yeah, like there was blood where she was standing.
Mm-hmm.
And you broke all the whitetail rules. You spot and stalked a whitetail in the middle of the day.
Yep.
And seeing it on video, how much movement, when you're in the stand 26-7 feet in the air, you're like, if you just move 2 inches to maybe go reach for your bow, they're gone. They're in another county. Meanwhile, you were over there range finding, knocking arrows, swinging things around, and I'm seeing the video. I'm like, how did she not leave? And then immediately after, and then immediately after the shot, you guys just go right up to it. There's hey, let's back out. We'll just go get her in a half an hour. No, let's just go right up there.
Yeah, I think it was roles reversed. Normally we have the high ground on the deer, and she was a good 30 feet higher than us. Maybe not that, maybe 20 feet higher than us.
It was a good angled up shot.
And 39 yards. So things I've never done. I've never shot a deer spot and walk. I've never harvested a deer over 25 yards. And I've never
shot uphill on a deer.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so did it all
backwards. Just came to break all the rules. Yeah. Spot and stalk whitetail. Oh man,
usually the poachers do that.
And not spotlight, just spot and stalk. Spotlighting deer, my goodness. Oh man, but no, it was good. She's a good sized doe, and she's beautiful. And whitetail are they're beautiful deer. Mule deer are, it's like comparing the Appalachian Mountains to, which I think you say Appalachian, but that's your northern still. So Appalachian Mountains and the Rockies. You can't really compare them because there's that history. The Appalachian Mountains. And now you got me saying it. Right?
See, now you're saying it right.
Okay, I'm editing that out. The Appalachian Mountains are they're old, historic, beautiful. And you got the Rockies that are just majestic. It's like muleys and whitetail. Whitetail are just beautiful. They're beautiful deer. And it's been fun this week, honestly, to hang out and see the bucks that I've seen that are nothing compared to Tiny. And maybe I'll see Tiny tomorrow. I'll get him on camera and show him to you guys and let your dad kill him later because I'll let him walk and I'll shoot the little button buck.
If you spot and stalk him, I'm never shooting him again. I'm done.
Done with this thing.
I'll just hop out of the stand and walk.
Go to change NASCAR tires.
Yeah, yeah. It's like Kryptek camo, guys. I'm telling you, you can change stuff. Oh man. But this week it's been cool. I know we talked on the podcast about NASCAR.
Yeah.
And it's been cool hearing even more how technical it gets. That's been awesome. I don't know. Did you know how technical it was, or you just like the left turns because it's easy to
I just watched
remember.
it for the wrecks.
Okay.
I take a nap and watch a wreck.
Yeah, it's a little hypnotic, right? Just the
Yeah. But now it's like, now I know the technical aspect of it. I'm like, wow, that's really interesting for about 5 minutes. Oh, yeah, Jeff.
you're gonna wake up, take a nap, wake up, be like, oh, hey, look,
I
there's
forgot
Jeff.
this was on.
Yeah. No, but that's been cool to learn those things about it. It's a whole nother ball game that it's tons of respect for.
It's fun sharing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we kind of get NASCAR people, right? NASCAR fans, industry people. We kind of get put in that box that it's like a Southern redneck sport. And sure, that's how it started. It started with bootleggers, but it turned into now it's full professional sport. It's the technology and everything that goes into it. It's just it's a lot.
It's insane. It's like you're talking about, even like the garages are like surgical room clean.
Yeah, like if you go to any race shop and go tour them, most race shops have an area you can tour. They do tours for them. I mean, it's clean. Like there's nothing. Everything's put away every night. It's surgical room clean, because it's not the greasy floors that you would expect it to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if like
awesome.
people who started NASCAR could see it today, if they would be like,
it's not that old. 75 years. So
yeah. So I mean, like
they can.
But like if like what they imagined it was going to turn into.
Yeah, no way. I can't imagine, because it just started with bootleggers building up their cars to outrun the police, and then it turned into, hey, well, my hot rod's faster than yours, and it's like, no, it's not. So fine, let's put some money on it and let's race and see who's the best.
They should do that now. They should like go back to the old days
Bootleg.
where there's no rules. No,
Okay.
no rules. Yeah, none of this like windshield.
Just bootlegging.
Bootlegging. Yeah, bootlegging what's already legal. But no, that's pretty cool. So there was something that happened today. We were helping move some furniture. We're gonna talk about this.
I figured
the mishaps of camp. You almost fell out of your stand because you got stuck at one point, and then you chose not to fall out of your stand, right? Didn't you almost get stuck?
Oh, I got stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got stuck, and you were like, "Well, how do I get out of this?"
I'm not sure I've heard this.
I just got in a precarious situation. Trying to move from my platform to the top of that ladder stand.
Yeah.
And trying to get swung around on it. It was that night. It was that first morning I saw Tiny.
Oh, okay.
I was all swung around, and like I got up in the dark. I had no idea where these deer were going to come from, and I couldn't remember which way you told me to get up in the tree, and I got in the wrong way. So then I had to like try to swing my platform around, and I was in a saddle, so I was trying to like really get around the tree, and I just kind of got into a situation where I was between the two of them, and I was like, this is too far apart. This is not ideal. But yeah, we got it ironed out.
So you didn't fall out of the tree stand. You
No.
promised your wife you wouldn't do that. So
I did.
You kept their promise. And then we were moving furniture. And
as part of coming here to do the camp, to get the facility, we were not aware that we were going to be free labor, which is fine. But Justin's dad had some stuff that we were going to move around. So, we come back in the middle of the day. Hey,
it was
can
like
we
a
get a
big
hand
safe.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a
freezer,
safe, bed, bedding
beds,
stuff. Yeah.
Vanity
doors.
dresser.
Yeah.
Amish built stuff. Really high. It made.
Yeah.
I'm sure they ordered it on Alibaba. Right?
Tinu.
Oh man! So these houses, just so you're aware, the houses are built in what, 1870,
Something like
70s,
that. Yeah.
1870s, right?
Chinking and stuff here. It's old.
Yeah, this isn't like pretend. This isn't like what you just slap on to make it look cool. Like this is actual.
This isn't farmhouse boho.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So the door frames are a little short, right? And like I can fit through these pretty well, and but there's this one room.
Some of those outbuildings.
Yeah, the outer buildings, the storage rooms are. I almost have to duck, and I think I might have ducked a couple times. I'm going in, and I'm only like 5'10" on a good day. And
if I don't duck, it like steams my hair.
That's why you don't have any. He grew up that way. That's why I just shaved the top of his head. So we're, you're cleaning up something that was in the yard. You went in the house and you came out, and I'm starting to walk up the gravel, and I see your foot come out, and then I hear, and then and I thought you'd stepped back, and you're like, I'm just going to lay here for a minute. I was like, oh crap. Like he fell.
Yeah.
So what do you remember of this incident?
I remember most of it.
Mhm.
There's a couple second window where I don't remember, but that was later. So whatever. We moved some of these dressers and some of these vanities out of this outbuilding, and then there were some things that needed to go back. So I brought some of the things back, and I was just getting ready to leave. In that last step, it's like a step out of the building. I was getting ready to step out, looking down at the ground.
It's kind of a big step.
It's a big step. It's a couple of, it's about a foot. So I figured I knew I had a duck, but I hadn't really been in there because I was the one standing outside the door getting it. So when I went to duck, I tucked my chin and ducked my head. Well, I was not clear, and I hit square. It's gonna be hard for people listening, but I hit square on the top of my head on this old, like 8x8 post.
I mean, it's just as jagged, that white right there. I mean, it's a straight angle.
It was straight, and I hit my head on it, and I felt everything in my neck just like crink. Immediately got a headache and just like had that quick flash, like what just happened, knocked me clear back on my butt. And I sat there for a second, and I was like, I'm kind of getting a little lightheaded. And luckily Jonathan was walking up, and I was like, hey, I'm going to lay down for a second. If I pass out, it's okay.
Yeah.
I laid down. I was like, oh, I'm okay. So then I take my hat off to kind of like itch my head where I had hit it. And I looked inside my hat, and there was blood in my hat. And I'm like, oh, no. Reach on the top of my head. I got blood on my hands. I'm like, great. This is not good. I go, Jonathan, how bad is it? And he's like, oh, dude, it's terrible. We got to get you to the emergency room. No, it wasn't that bad. It definitely cut a little bit of the top of my head, but we walked back to the truck where I had some bottles of water, and I was like, hey, let me just rinse this out, at least do some first aid on it. And as I was rinsing my hair out, trying to get the blood out of my hair and get the hair out of the cut, that's when I got white. I got really lightheaded, didn't feel good, sat down, was like, I'm definitely passing out this time. Laid down and I guess I was out for a few seconds. I don't remember all of that, but coming to and then sitting up and I just got my bell rung. But luckily we're in the company we are.
There's a reason why the house has been here since 1870.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's happened more than once. And it's withstood it.
This thing could withstand earthquakes and tornadoes at this point.
Now I don't feel as short walking around you.
Yeah, I definitely lost a clear inch. Easy inch. I might be under 6 feet now.
Join the sub 6 foot club. Welcome. Yes.
Yeah, but I really did think, like, when I hit my head and like fell back and like getting lightheaded, like all that, everything that happened in that 5-minute window, I was like, I'm done hunting. Like, I didn't know if I was concussed. I didn't know if I needed to go get stitches or staples. It was just kind of one of those, like, I'd be a little bummed if I didn't get to go again, but turned out I just knocked my head.
Yeah,
I got checked.
To truck the house. Yeah.
Justin checked me out, and you're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're like, now I feel really sick.
Yeah, he made it worse first. He did something where he grabbed my head and he's like shaking it around, and I'm like, this is not helping, buddy. I don't know if you're trying to fix it here, but this is not working.
Yeah, check for concussions, and then your dad's an EMT.
Yeah.
Because out here you can't call 911, right? Yeah. That's not an option. There's no cell service. So it's like
most people still have landlines out here. Like my parents just got rid of their landline last year.
So why?
Because they use cell phones now.
Just Wi-Fi calling?
Yeah, I got the Wi-Fi calling.
When the Wi-Fi works?
When the Wi-Fi works, yeah. Actually, maybe they do. I don't know if they got their landline or not. I don't know. But yeah, most people have landlines.
Yeah. It's like elk camp with Wi-Fi that works when the saw's not running.
Yeah. Exactly.
A lot of coincidences happening all at once.
Right.
We're doing some construction in the house. The saw goes off, and then the Wi-Fi kills. And then the saw doesn't go off for another minute or two. The Wi-Fi comes back.
Get like 2 emails in.
Yeah, they cut one more board. Wi-Fi goes out. Coincidence?
I don't think so.
No way. We have very limited power.
Yeah, yeah. We moved like 1,000-pound safe.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
You guys did.
That was before I split my head.
That was
still
split your head. Yep. But yeah, no. So from my point of view, and you were with your dad.
Yeah, we were in the 2 doors.
Yeah, something like that. I think they were just hanging out, but
we had the buddy system going on. So Jonathan was with me. It wasn't like I was by myself. Because by myself, I don't know. I don't know if I would.
Where'd Jeff go?
Yeah,
he'll come around the corner. My name's Jeff. He's never heard that joke.
Never. First time.
7th time today.
But yeah, so Jeff, tries to truck the house, and the house got him back, and I walk over there, he's check him out. And,
Where was Jacob at? Was he just useless this whole time?
Well, when we were back at the
know.
truck, we walked back to the truck.
Mm-hmm.
He was somewhere mulling about. And then when we were at the truck and I was washing my hair, that's when he was there. And Jacob, it's a shame he's not here to do this, but Jacob, you could not keep him quiet. And then as soon as something like serious happened, he's just locked up. He didn't know what to do. But
like his guts after Bob Evans.
But he did have some good witty jokes after.
Oh yeah. So we walk over to the truck, and I thought it was the picture, because some people do okay with blood until they see their own blood.
I had you take a picture of my head.
Yeah, some people do okay with blood until it's their own, and then they pass. Like I know nurses and stuff like that that can't handle their own blood, but they can handle everyone else's stuff. And I thought that's what it was.
It was when I was scrubbing my head. That's what got
so
it.
I had taken the picture and I shown it to you, and right after that you did this, and then you were like, I'm not feeling good. And he sat down on the gravel, which is obviously not comfortable. And you
better
laid
than
down.
Falling on the gravel.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would have been interesting. So you sat down, you laid down, and then you got this, like, you close your eyes for a second, you're like, I'm passing out. Close your eyes and open them immediately, and it was like this 1,000-yard stare for like a handful of seconds. I was like, all right, normal procedure will be call 911. I can't call 911, so all right, let's see what we're gonna do. And like running through the steps in my head, and then the water was pouring. The cold water was pouring in your armpit, so I picked the water bottle up, and I was like, he's obviously out if he's not like, wanting to move that. And then you kind of twitched back, and you were like, hey, where's that water at? I'm like,
it's on the ground now, buddy. You dumped it all out.
Exactly. But yeah, got you taken care of. Then these stitches.
Nope.
Just a little cut, but
and a big knot.
I think that
What did you call it?
Pump knot.
You've never heard of that.
A pump knot?
Yeah, we talked about this at the restaurant.
Yeah, explain what a pump knot is.
Well, everyone else knows what a pump knot is except you two. A pump knot is just like.
Hold on, if you're watching this, comment down below if you know what a pump knot is.
Yeah, pump knot's just like you get hit in the head and you get like a goose egg. It's the same thing.
It's goose egg.
Pump knot.
Everyone else says goose egg.
No.
This is not an East-West thing. This is just everybody in the
It's a South thing.
I'm from the South. I've never heard of pump knot.
From the South versus you lived in Utah how long?
It's been 10 years and 2 years in Mexico. So.
Oh, I thought you moved out there when you were like 9.
No, I flew out. I grew 18 years in North Carolina.
Do you know how to say pump knot in Spanish?
Pump knot?
What is it?
You wouldn't say it because it's not a word. It's not a real thing. Yes.
Pump knot.
Can't translate things that are. Oh man! Speaking of that, we were reading the Made in China sticker on something, and Jacob goes, he's like, Echo in China. I was like, Echo? He's like, oh yeah, it's Spanish. Oh, gosh, this guy. But yeah, no, he got real quiet whenever you passed out for a second. He was like I didn't hear him talking. I was like, oh man.
It's probably the longest time.
Well, he didn't know what happened up until that point. Yeah. He just come around the corner, and I'm like rubbing my head, and I'm like trying to wash it, and taking a bath. I don't think you realized I had my head split open.
Yeah.
I thought you were just chilling because like me and my dad came around. And it's like, why is Jeff just chilling in the gravel next to laying up against his tire?
Super comfortable, just hanging out on the gravel.
Yeah. It's like there's chairs on the porch, just unstack them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I came up and made a joke, and then you were like, oh, he cut his head.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, crap.
Oh.
Oh, man. So, some mishaps. Had some fun. What else? You saw Tiny. You've seen Tiny.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen Tiny but me, so tomorrow's my day.
So, to put it in perspective, Tiny is like this perfect 10-point with really tall brow tines, probably north of 170, I would say.
But I saw him pretty far away. He was like 150 yards when I saw him.
Okay. I had him at 65 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, the first person that saw him said, like, 190.
Yeah.
And then the next person saw him said, like, 180. And then I'd say he's probably between 160 170 is what I'd guess.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I think I'll just spot and stalk him tomorrow. We'll figure it out. Yeah. We'll measure it out tomorrow.
He's by far the biggest deer that I've seen in this area this week. I've seen some other nice deer.
Yeah.
Just not. Yeah, of course I had to see him first, so every deer is, immediately enough. Minus 40 inches of what I think it is. Like, yeah, way too high.
He did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Wait, let me show my
Jonathan's bar is like in the
Dude,
But I did see a
that was
nice
tough.
buck on public.
Yeah.
I just didn't shoot him.
Because you were still thinking about Tiny. You're
Oh,
like,
it was the next day.
Yeah, you were looking at him. You're like, you just don't measure up.
Well,
and
we
he's
also
over there thinking, but dude,
we had two other really good bucks on that camera, and then this guy comes in. And I don't think we had but one picture of him. He was one of the smaller ones. So it was early. I was waiting for those other ones to come cruising through.
Yeah.
But
So the thought is, because they just killed a 13 point that was kind of roaming this property.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So the thought is that maybe because he's gone, Tiny moved in and took over his does and his area.
Yeah. So what I told my dad was like, because we hadn't seen that 13 point. We hadn't seen him before. No history with him. And then my dad started getting lots of pictures of him. My dad started hunting him hard. And I was like, what's crazy is he was in a bachelor group somewhere and he's the one that got bumped out. So I was like, I want to see that buck. That's what I told my dad. And he's like, yeah, that's a good point. At the same time, I was like, he probably just came through and found we had a crap ton of does on this property. But he ended up getting shot. Scored 146.8. So good deer. Beautiful chocolate rack. And then they started seeing Tiny. So I don't know if Tiny's the one that bumped him to my parents' property, because it's only, 400 yards away, easily the same area. Or if Tiny bred all his does and is now encroaching on this farm a little more. So causation, correlation, whichever way you want to look at it.
Yeah, those are some big words.
Hey, I know two of them. That was both of them.
No, that's awesome. But yeah, so Tiny's just, it's just beautiful deer. So, I guess my turn to see him.
Yeah.
I won't shoot him. I promise. Your dad,
we've both seen him out of that stand.
Yeah.
If you don't see him,
I didn't see him out of that stand.
Oh, I thought you saw him out of that stand.
No, I was on the neighbor.
Oh, okay.
So it's roaming between the neighbors and this property.
Yeah.
Man, whitetail is it's a whole nother game. It really is.
Yeah.
It's like chess.
Yeah.
Cat and mouse.
Yeah. Or spot and walk.
Spot walk.
That's the problem is you guys haven't tried that. You need some.
Yeah.
It's not really a tool in the toolbox that you go for, but
You're kind of like my wife. Like I've watched her in the stand before. At her parents' place, I was watching through the binoculars, and she was standing there with a buck, or it was like a buck and a doe, a skunk and a raccoon. We're all underneath of her, and she's standing there just twirling, just looking around. I'm just like, what is she doing? And I pulled up my binoculars and looked through her, and as soon as I did, this buck was feeding on corn. He just snapped up and looked at me. I'm like 110 yards away. And I'm behind a hay bale. All you can see is like from here up.
Yeah.
I guess you got the reflection off my head or the binoculars one.
Probably the head.
I had hair at the time.
Freshly shaved.
Yeah.
Buttered up.
But like I'm looking, and she just looks at me. She goes, she her hands up and drops them. So I just like set the binoculars down and just like melt behind this hay bale. And I come back a few minutes later, same thing. He looks up at me, just instantly stomps, head bobs, and they always walk away. And she was like, "You ruined my hunt." I'm like, I was so far away.
she's up there doing jumping jack.
Yeah, pretty much. Like she's just a Disney princess, sings and the forest animals come. And she shoots them.
Yeah. Man. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Shout out to the wives for letting us,
Yeah.
three strangers come to camp.
Absolutely. Me and Jonathan had met once before for like 5 minutes at TAC. Justin sends me a message. Hey, you want to come up in Ohio? What are the dates? November 12th through the 18th. I'm like, yeah, sounds good. Sure, why not?
All of our wives are like, how do you know these people?
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah,
Online.
we don't. Met them online.
We've known each other for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
We talk back and forth, and then through the cold shot challenge is where we met, and then just talking back and forth.
And I was on your podcast.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was going to invite you on the podcast if you hadn't been on the podcast, but you've already been on, so.
So I got a question for you. You've done the Western stuff.
Mhm.
You've hiked all over the place. You spend time behind glass looking for them. And now you've sat in a tree stand for a couple days, for hours where you don't see anything and you're kind of not in control of where you can go to find animals. What do you feel about that? How do you feel about it compared to Western hunting?
I'd still choose Western.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I had to choose between the two.
I'm not saying you have to choose. I'm just saying, did you enjoy it? Like
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. It's
because some people
different.
don't like sitting in the stand and not having to be able to control.
Yeah. I do have. I would recommend that people keep themselves occupied somehow.
A book?
Because a book, not a boring book.
A
Maybe
RedBeard
something.
podcast?
Yeah, RedBeard podcast. Download them. Yeah. But yeah, no, this is a lot of people have signal in the stands, when they're out hunting, unless they're out here. But I feel like a lot of people that I know have service in the stands, so they're able to go through their phones, do some work, answer emails, blah blah blah. But I think that's been the hardest. I don't know. It's weird for me because I feel like the time has flown by. And there's times where I'm like, I look back, I'm like, what was I doing? Because I didn't have signal like all tonight. Like, what was I doing? I listened to a podcast for maybe an hour out of the
during the rain.
Stand. Yeah, I was getting poured on. And didn't bring my rain gear. But I was just determined that rain was going to stop and there was going to be a buck that was going to walk out.
Well, you didn't have an option because you were dropped off.
Yeah, that's true.
I had no way to call me.
Yeah, he left me out there with no signal on purpose. A little sketchy.
Yep.
But that's okay. I didn't get eaten by squirrels or coyotes or anything like that. But no, going back to, I've enjoyed it. It's just a different type of enjoyment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I wish I could feel I could fill the empty space with maybe like some work emails or something like that. But other than that, like it's been a good time. The saddle that was really comfortable. Finally got up. I was at over 20 feet. I was like 25 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
On a saddle, which is crazy because
Are we going to talk about what happened when you were up there?
He was trying to skip.
We don't have to.
Nope, too late. We brought it up. So mishaps in the stand in the saddle.
We're going to talk about all the things that we dropped out of the tree stand this week.
Jeez. Oh man, this is yeah.
So
this was not during while we were hunting. It was either while we were getting in the stand or getting out. It wasn't like in the middle of, so it didn't really ruin any of the hunt, I guess, per se.
Oh, you drop a grunt tube about an hour before sunset. It's kind of sketchy to get down to get that thing.
Yeah. No, I didn't go back down and get it, but you just kind of leave it at that point. But no, so I dropped my bow, which
brand new, right?
I'll just start out with that. I just dropped my bow, brand new PSE Mach 30. It is very durable, very durable. I think I might have knocked the third axis out of whack, but everything else was great.
Did it just jump out of your hand?
It did. Yeah. So just jumped right out of my hand while I was getting in the stand. No, so used the pull-up rope, got it on one of the bow hooks, and then I was I used the stand to put my saddle platform up. And as I was moving to the platform, I bumped the bow because I brought the bow over so I could reach it from the platform. I bumped the bow, and all I could do was just watch it fall and hope it didn't hit anything hard. Luckily, it fell on a pile of leaves, which is really nice because otherwise I'm sure something would have been dinged up.
And the reason why you're in that saddle, if people are going to be, well, why are you in a saddle when you have a ladder stand? It's because you had a buck behind you. The day before or the morning before?
Yeah, no, it was the morning before.
Yeah, so you were like, if I was in a saddle, I could have definitely got him. So I mean, why not just open up your shot opportunities?
So the sitting in the saddle versus a tree stand. So a tree stand, I think is definitely there's definitely a place for it. It's easy as far as like if you have the property. I can see having private property. The tree stand is more. I guess
you can just get in and get out.
You get in, get out. It's already placed there. It's more convenient, but you are stuck to a specific shooting unless you get up and turn around, which is a lot of movement for whitetail. And so I was sitting in there looking at this beautiful field. You'd seen a 6-point or an 8-point?
6-point.
6-point? Yeah. Whatever, they're all the same to me.
You would have shot him.
I would have shot him. Even if I can only see his...
At least we got the terms right.
Exactly. You know what? He's a 3x3. Okay, with eye guards. They're not brow tines. They're eye guards. But yeah, no. So I was facing this field. I could see 180 degrees to left and right. But I couldn't really see good behind me, and so it was like I don't know. I think it was a 7:30. So it was still. I mean, we were only an hour and a half into the stand, but it was plenty of light, and I heard some crashing behind me. Or some steps, and so I kind of turned my head, and there was this little 6-point with no eye guards. He was a young 6-point,
Which you
and
have crushed.
I would have crushed. Yeah. And he's walking over, and I turn, and he kind of stopped for a second, and my wind was blowing directly to him. So I think he caught my wind first. And then so I'm facing this way, and I'm reaching over to my left because my bow is to my left. And so I grab my bow, and I'm able to get my bow, which already has an arrow nocked and my release on it, into my lap. And now I'm contemplating, how the frick do I turn? Like, I'm going to have to get up and turn to shoot him. He was 25 yards from me, and there was an open enough spot. I've been to enough tacks that I could have shot.
I don't know. I followed you at a tack course once. Pulled some arrows out of some trees.
So I was confident I could have made that shot, but anyway, all that movement, he ended up.
Yeah.
He didn't run, but he turned around.
He saw something he didn't like.
Yeah, he smelled me first, and then and I showered that morning too, so I don't know.
You wash your clothes with Tide.
That almost happened. Almost washed both of our clothes with Tide. I think Jeff might have not been too happy about that. Sprayed it down with Axe afterwards. That's what.
Hey, if you play the wind right, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But yeah, the wind was not good. So anyway, that's the big difference that I've noticed between tree stands and saddles. The saddle's very comfortable. You can shift if your feet start to go numb, which I was asking you about. I think I was too angled away from the tree, and that was causing the issue. But you can put your knees into the tree. You can swing around. I'm sure that's what you were doing up in the tree. You're just
I just put my feet up. I used to get it tight enough from you swinging side to side. Wind blow me a little bit. So
being like a big old leaf.
The microphone. Yeah. I'm like way over here.
Yeah, you're good. So yeah, I don't know. I'll probably do an episode on that just to talk about a little bit my experience coming from out west. But obviously spot and walk works a lot better. So better than either of those two options.
It was a pet doe, absolutely. We've been raising it for 4 years.
We didn't shoot the pet doe.
The thing is, I don't know what was further, the walk to where you shot her from or the shot. That's how close they were.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah. We walked on, we were looking for her, and we got within 30 yards before they jumped up.
It was uphill both ways, man.
We did not see her at all.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Miles. Yeah. But no, yeah, that I coming from the west, just find ways to entertain yourself, and I'm okay. And I actually like it when it's quiet. Some people they go crazy. I've got kids. I've got I do a podcast. I talk on the phone for my job. So having that quiet time to just listen to the woods. And the other thing too, you start to notice things like this morning where we were in a spot where we were it was dead quiet. And that spot, we had seen deer every single time we were in that spot. And normally out west, I would say there's a cougar or a bear, something in the area. Because when the birds aren't chirping and the squirrels aren't going, it's because they've evacuated the spot. It's not just a predatory bird; it's something's there. And so I'm thinking we blew that spot out, just me and you being in it so much. But I'd assume that because there's not really anything else here.
Yeah, we saw a lot of deer in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, just traffic always gets it. It doesn't matter if you're super quiet or it just eventually you get enough scent or enough whatever in the area, and they just move on like 100, 200 yards, and then 3 days later they'll be back.
Yeah. They circle back. They pattern us just like we pattern them.
Yeah.
That slide by side coming up here.
Side, yeah, time to get out.
Yeah. I don't know, but anything you want to share from camp that you've enjoyed other than meeting your friends from online?
Yeah. No, I just love meeting new people. It's been even though we just met, I feel like we were able to just cut up immediately. Just start bashing on each other immediately.
Yeah.
I think the first words we all said were insults. So we knew it was gonna be good. Y'all's bows all have dart and technology in them, which is just super impressive that it's spread for me. Just everything's been a good time. I was glad we were able to do it. Hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah. It's been fun for sure.
No, I'm blessed. Yeah. I've been at hunt camps before with other people, and sometimes you get people that, I don't know, maybe they don't want to go hunting as much as you do. So you kind of they maybe drag their feet too much, but I don't feel like that was this. We were all here to kind of hunt and, have fun. Yeah. And I mean, every night it gets dark at 6 o'clock and we're back here at 6:30, 7, we eat. And then next thing you know, it's midnight and it's why are we still awake at midnight?
Like right now.
Like right now. and we're gonna get up in 4.5, 5 hours.
Well, you
But
will, and then
I will.
his alarm will go off for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey, I got up to go pee this morning and fell back asleep, and I guess I hit that REM sleep real fast because
Oh God.
I didn't hear that alarm.
My favorite was the got up at 2 o'clock in the morning the first night.
Yep.
Rummaging through his bag. Doesn't
I don't
remember that at
remember
all.
that.
And
I just remember going pee.
I was like, "Hey, you okay?" He didn't say nothing, and Jeff's like, "Hey, man, you all right?" And he's just digging.
I'm just waiting because the bed I have is like right next to the stairs. I'm waiting for just to hear this tumble all the way down. I'm like, oh, we made it.
We made it. And then he comes back up. He goes, "Is that a coyote?" And then Jeff, it's like half asleep. He goes, "Yeah, that's a coyote." And at that point, I wake up. I was like, "Guys, that's the rooster." Jeff's like, "Yeah, that's definitely a rooster."
It's definitely a rooster.
Got the dumbest rooster.
2:30 in the
At
morning.
2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, who does that?
After that, I just like giggled myself back to sleep. I was like, "These guys are idiots." Just fell back asleep.
Coming from
And I
Justin.
have chickens, which is even worse.
It really did. That first one sounded a little off. It didn't sound like a rooster. Oh man.
No, but it's just good. It's fun to get out here, share the woods with other people, and for you to get your first whitetail.
Mhm.
That was a really cool experience.
Yep.
Being able to share that with you and hang out in the garage while you cut it up and process it. It's just
forever.
cool.
I take forever.
Well,
doing
it's
that.
okay.
I'm slow.
I'm slow too. I can't even make fun of you for that. Jacob came out when I shot my buck, and he couldn't help me at all because of his injury. So he just brought some L8s and sat there. And I mean, I got there at like midnight, and I finished at like 1:32 or something like that. So he just stood there and watched me the whole time.
Which is what he did when Jonathan shot his doe.
Those friends.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. No, that's awesome. I'm trying to think what else has been grunt tubes. I dropped my saddle platform.
Oh,
Yeah,
I had
you
a
did
buck.
drop
Almost
that
hit
too.
my bow. Almost hit my bow.
Almost.
I had a
That
boat
would've been
behind me on the second day, and I had one of these sitting on my chair, and I'm in a ladder stand over on the neighbor, and I didn't see him come in. Like, I'm sitting there looking straight ahead of me, and I just happened to, I'm going to look behind me for no reason, and he's like 40, 50 yards down behind me. I can't remember. I think it was a 6. I don't remember. I think I told y'all.
Something I would have shot.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
definitely shot. And it's a beautiful deer. But I was like, oh, crap. And so I kind of shifted my seat to look at him better. And when I did, this was in my chair, and it fell and landed on my foot platform. Just bang. And I just "Ew." And he didn't even look up. He just kept milling around and then walked
that
off
first
and
form
grabbed on a
energy.
tree. Yeah.
But as soon as you pull your binos out, he is
Gone. Yeah. And he didn't care and came over and about 50 yards and walked off. Didn't care a bit. I eventually just kicked it out of the stand and let it hit the ground.
Are we even going to get into Mothman? Is that
Mothman's the goat. I wish Jacob was here talking about Mothman.
That's a whole hour podcast.
That's
If
a
Jacob
whole-
was here, dude,
Oh man,
over.
they actually roped us into watching the Mothman
Mothman
movie.
prophecies.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I'm not. Yep.
Mothman is
I had
he's like Sasquatch for Ohio, West Virginia border.
Yeah.
Mothman's a West Virginia
Yeah.
folklore.
It is Point
Or-
Pleasant's
or fact.
one and only way to earn money throughout the year.
They have a huge festival. There's a statue. He's ripped. You look at the statue. He's on some first form meat sticks or something. He's jacked.
He's on that barbecue. He's on that mothball flavor.
Yeah. So you guys should definitely look into some. If anyone's still listening to us at this point, God love you. But look up some Mothman trivia.
Yeah, Mothman. I don't even know what else to say.
Yeah,
about
I'm
that.
terrified
we got
of
the
I know, we have
winches
to pick
talking
you up
about
out of the stand every night.
Right, yeah, now he is. We need to walk up with 2 red. That's
I
what we're
told
doing.
you.
We're gonna. No, I'm gonna have my red light and yours, not just 2 of them.
Oh,
but,
okay.
us
Two
walking.
ways.
Yeah.
One way, and then Mothman can't even see me. It's 2 different ways. I'm good.
Oh man. Yeah. So look up Mothman. That's a whole nother. I don't even know what
He's
to
like
say
a
about that.
cryptid.
Yeah. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I have no idea what to say. The fact that you believe it not. Oh man. But yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been a good camp. We're gonna kill something tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And
Multiple things, hopefully.
I have to leave Tiny for your dad.
If it's brown, it's down. Slick heads and all.
I killed
Tiny
my
comes
doe.
to where I'm said tomorrow. I'm sorry, that's
You
a
didn't
different
make
deer.
that promise.
I didn't.
Yeah, but no, it's been awesome. And I appreciate your invite. That's even though you may have had to. Yeah, I really appreciate that,
Appreciate
man.
y'all.
Appreciate. Oh man, it is late. We're getting delirious, and no, but it's been fun. It's been a good week. I can't believe it's been a week already. It's
Dude, it
crazy.
doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Our wives are like, it's definitely been a week.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, with that being said, it's been a lot of fun. Great first whitetail experience. We're gonna crush some does next year in North Carolina.
Come on,
Doe patrol.
come smack them all out.
Oh yeah, with that jumpy bow I've got.
Hey,
Yeah.
You have a
I hope
jump
your
here,
next year
but-
models jump here.
Yeah. It'll just go out and like stab the deer with the stabilizer.
Yeah, it's
Just
a new
spin it.
concept.
Just-
You pull
yeah.
the string back, and you let the string go, and the bow and the broadhead go.
You
Yeah.
keep the arrow.
It's that new vein.
Oh, yeah.
Vein, the carbon vein.
Hey,
Done.
Came up with that first.
Darn. That's a Darton patent from
What's the
1974.
scripture they're gonna put on that one?
I think it's what's the one that says like Jesus wept? Just that one.
Jesus.
wept.
Yeah, it's the shortest verse.
I thought it was gonna be like it's gonna be an all white bow, and it's gonna be like, and he came in on a white horse.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's a lot
And
cooler.
his name was Death or something like that. Yeah.
Something really obscure, like
Yeah.
"Lo, I have a painful disease in my loins." Something from like one of those weird.
Oh my
Weird
gosh.
chapters.
Oh man, and you're not even drinking.
Nah.
This man, I
Yeah.
can't even imagine you on.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
a
honestly.
weird deer camp I've ever been to. Not one drop of alcohol
Yeah.
has been drank or even showed up,
Mm-mm.
which is great.
We've been
No, we're
giggly
just-
as crap.
High on these things right
Yeah.
here: meat sticks, protein bars.
Good times, good
Oh,
people.
yeah. Good times, good people. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it again.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us out.
Yeah, no problem.
And yeah, I'm gonna leave the links down below to find these two, and Jacob, who is not here, who should be right here,
He'd be like, "Oh,
Like way up here.
really tall guy. He kills some big stuff. He's an awesome dude, and he will talk your ear off. So if you want to know anything about hunting,
Or Mothman.
or Mothman, yes, message Jacob about Mothman.
he didn't know what
He
Mothman
will-
was until
Me?
6 months ago."
6 months
Oh,
ago.
jeez.
But that's he's just enamored with him now.
It's
Oh,
like
my
Jacob
goodness.
only thinks about two things: Mothman and Hannah Baron.
That's
it.
Hey, he just called him out. Oh man.
We need to get, try to get Hannah on your podcast.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, follow Jacob.
But-
Get
Oh,
Hannah
Jacob.
and Jacob on your podcast same time.
Just think of them too.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, again, I'm gonna leave the links down below to find these two guys and Jacob, who isn't here, but he's the honorary member of camp. And again, appreciate you, man. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. And of course, get out, live your life, and love it.
Appreciate y'all.